Hello, 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 and welcome, beautiful people, to another live video in my Facebook group, The Portrait Photographer's Resource. So today is a little bit different because we are doing a how I shot it video, which we haven't done in a while. But what makes this one a little bit more interesting is this isn't portrait related. This is actually talking about landscape photography. And I can't think of someone any better to do this than the amazing, the talented, all the way from Vancouver, British Columbia, William Orsua. William, say hello to the world.
How's it going, everyone? So nice to be here.
Yeah,
Good
William, I
afternoon,
am
and
I'm so excited to have you. I'll tell people first a little bit of a backstory of how I met you, and it was a few years ago where I found your work on the interwebs on Facebook, and I was absolutely fascinated with the amazing landscape images that you were producing. And as you know, I'm very big on environmental portraiture, incorporating the mountains and the scenery into my portraits. So naturally, I love landscape photography, and when I saw your work, I was just blown away.
thanks, man. That's flattering. It's coming from you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shannon.
I appreciate that. So William, I know there's a lot of my viewers that don't know who you are. I've already said you're from Canada, but I don't think you're originally from there. So I
hmm
wanted to maybe get some insight from you about where you're originally from, talk how you got interested in photography, and what you're doing now with it.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm actually originally from the Philippines, from Manila, Philippines, and I'm a healthcare worker. I am a respiratory therapist, so I still work at the hospital and slash like running two full-time jobs. But I moved to um, to Vancouver in 2010 to Canada in first in Prince George, which is like the northern capital of BC, which is like 8 hours drive from Vancouver. Yeah, it's quite cold there and all that. So I
Okay.
lived there for 2 years. I wasn't a photographer before.
Okay.
I like taking selfies a little bit, and but I wasn't a photographer, and I have a lot of hobbies, play basketball, things like that, but nothing that I took too seriously, right? Usually we get into something, and then after a while, we move on to the next whatever we get into.
Right.
But so when I was living in Prince George, so I said I'm gonna be moving to Vancouver because I want to live in the main city, and I love that it's not too cold here. So before I left Prince George, I had to sell my car because I was gonna get an SUV. So I sold my car, and
Hmm.
this guy who's buying my car was short by $500.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, "Oh man." He said, "How about," and then he offered me a camera. It's a Nikon D90. Your camera, bro. Your brand.
That was the
So,
first. That was one of the first cameras I ever shot on, actually.
actually, yeah. So D90, I said, "Oh, I wasn't really I'm not a photographer, and I probably won't be using this or something like that." I said, "But let me think about it." I said, "I got a few offers. Let me think about it." So I went to the nearest camera store or electrical I mean here like Best Buy. So I said, and then I checked out the camera. Oh, I said, holy shit, it's $2,000, not including the lens. It came with a 35 millimeter lens. I
Yeah.
said, I better say yes. And
Hmm.
from there on, man, the rest is history. I moved to Vancouver, fell in love with the camera, shot my family, and then I joined the group, like a photography group
Hmm.
in Facebook. And I
Yeah.
even use I don't have my Facebook then. I just use my wife's Facebook. And then they immediately accepted me because they thought I was a girl. They love girls. So, and ever since then, I was relentless. I was shooting a lot. And my wife was getting mad at me because I'm spending a lot of time in photography and spending money. And I said, and she said, "You have to stop this. We almost always fighting and all that." I said, all right, how do I sustain this? So the only way I can sustain it is to make money from it. So yeah, so I do a lot of landscape. Basically, I started my background is doing a lot is into landscape photography, but since I needed to, it's more of a passion. So I don't earn much in it before. So I said, oh, I have to make money. So I started getting into portraits, to weddings, to what they call fashion, editorial, things like that, and
Hmm.
then just relentlessly, and then, but I
Yeah.
still shoot a lot of landscape because it's kind of like seasonal, right? When it's
Right.
wedding season, I don't shoot a lot, but it's kind of like my escape from my everything that I do is into the landscape. Yeah, so that's how I got into photography.
Okay. Yeah, that's an amazing story. I do remember you telling me that once about how you sold your camera or your car for cash plus trade with the camera, and what a what a fun way to get into the
I
world
know,
of
man.
photography. Yeah, I love that. And so how did you kind of dive into the world of landscape photography, and how did you get to the point where you got such a great following that you're now actually teaching and you're hosting landscape photography tours? How did you get to that level?
So basically, bro, I said I cannot afford to. I really wanted to learn quick, so I attend workshop. But I said, oh my God, I cannot afford all of this workshop and all
Hmm.
that, and because I knew attending a workshop is the fastest way to learn. I'm a big advocate of workshops. So what I did is, you know what? Let me be the one who produce workshops. So I said I started a company, so Soulmate Production, and then I produce workshop and I do weddings and all that. I registered it, all is legit. And then what I do is I hire or I bring people that what's the right name? I my inspirations or my idols in photography. Most of them are actually from overseas, yeah, from the Philippines, and a lot from Asia. So I bring them, and
Yeah.
then I partnered with the Canon ambassador from the Philippines, and then we got to be friends. And then from there on, I just produce workshops in landscapes and also in lighting and posing. So I produce like 3 workshops a year. I don't do it for money, but I learn, and at
Yeah.
the same time I grow my network, and I learn, and I'm free, and I earn a little bit, and then it just my name just keep going out there, and then I meet big people. So the great thing about it is I had good network, so I
Hmm.
met ambassadors and became friends with them,
Yeah.
and then they invite me to tours, and then I became a photography guide, a landscape photography guide, where we go to Norway, to Iceland, and all these amazing places, man. So yeah, that's and from there on, I just kept going and going and going. Yeah, it's amazing.
I love
Just
that,
like this
man.
backgrounds here.
Yeah, no, and Banff is on my bucket list for sure. Unfortunately, I won't have time to make it there on my trip this next month, but for our
Yeah,
workshop, which I am very excited for, by the way, that I'm going to be able to host a workshop with you in a few weeks, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But
yeah,
yeah, Banff's definitely on my bucket list for sure. And I'm really excited to do this because, as I mentioned earlier, I've been a fan of your work for years. I absolutely love your landscape photography. And today we're going to dive into some of your photos that you've captured and talk about how you shot it. So,
for
if you
sure.
if you're ready, I would love to jump into the first image and start talking about it.
For sure, man. I was born ready, just like
All
you.
right. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, the first photo that I have pulled up here for everyone to see, I believe you captured this in Norway. Is that correct?
Let me see. Let's show them.
Yeah, it's
Can we
pulled up
show?
on the screen so everyone can see. I
Mm-hmm.
think you're the only one who can't see unless you have the photo in
Let,
front of you.
let me just open the photographer's resource at the same
Yeah,
time and
no,
just have no volume, with no volume, right? And then I can
yeah.
also see the comments of people. Hi, hi everyone.
Exactly. Yes. That. Yeah. Pull it up. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of a delay on Facebook, but you'll be able to see it there. So,
Alrighty.
um,
So,
yeah.
oh, Norway, man. You will love Norway, bro, because you love fishing.
Right.
It's actually, although here in Canada, especially here in BC, British Columbia, we have a lot of salmon, and the salmon in Norway is a different level. It tastes
Yeah.
so good, man. Anyway, this shot is one of the most iconic place in Lofoten, Norway. It's called Reina. It's kind of like it's almost like an island. It's surrounded by water and all that, but they have just epic and super amazing um, mountains and landscapes there. And
Yeah.
at the same time, they have really strong northern lights there. So, how I shot this image is I actually shoot quite a lot in sunrise and sunset because it's the most beautiful color in a day, right?
Right.
So as a landscape photographer, I skip a lot the daytime because it's the normal one. So I, I, uh, I wake up really early to shoot. I think this was a sunrise, so that was the sunrise back then. I think either between 6 to 8 a.m. I forgot what time it was, but it was that. So to be a landscape photographer, they say it's not for the lazy because you have to wake up really early or
Yeah.
stay really late, right? So
Right.
we wake up usually at 5 a.m. If the sunset at 6 a.m. Get our gears, have a quick coffee, and you have to be at the place at least an hour before that.
Oh wow.
Because
Okay.
in landscape, not everything is magic. You study the shots. Oh, I mean you check out the location, and then when you get there, I don't shoot right away. I stay and just I admire what's in front of me, and just say for example, oh God, this is such a beautiful creation of yours. It's just beautiful. So I admire the place first,
Right.
because common mistake of people, they just put their tripod, they don't observe, and they just get excited,
Yeah.
which is normal when you're new. It's kind of like that. I was like that before. So I look at the elements around me. So what's the cloud situation right now? Do I have clouds? Is it clear? How's the tide and things like that? How's the light? Is it, do I need to do super long exposure, or the light is good? My clouds at this particular photo, uh, I shot it at long exposure. And
Right.
most of my photos, if you will assess it, my landscape shots are mostly long exposure because I want to see images that people can't imagine on their photo. Because
Okay.
with long exposure, you transform like the clouds, especially you have full control or the water and all that, and make it really beautiful. So for
Yeah.
this one, I shot this about maybe like 7 years ago.
Okay.
It's quite long ago now, 6 or 7 years ago. I use Canon 5D Mark IV on this photo, 16 to 35.
Yep. Great lens.
And where I was on this photo, if you go to Norway, you won't believe how many people are beside me. Probably 50 photographers.
Oh
Because
wow.
this is
Okay.
a really popular place. And it's a bridge. It's actually a bridge.
Oh
It's
okay.
a bridge. You're in the side of the bridge. So you have to put I use a tripod just like this. Right. I So as a landscape photographer, it's important to invest on a good tripod. So yeah, because you have to have a really sturdy tripod, and
Right.
something that really can go low angle and also can go quite high if you need to. So I shot this, as you can see, on long exposure. I was at f16, I believe,
Okay.
and probably at ISO 100 or 200. I usually shoot at 100, 200. because I like to do long exposure. And
Mm-hmm.
my the magic that I use on my landscape, I'll share to you guys, is I use square filters and degrads. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
mixture of CPL. I think I use 6 or 10 stops on this one. Um, yeah, and then usually, if you notice when you're out and about, the sky is, of course, always brighter than your foreground, right?
Right.
So if I use so I use multiple filters all in the camera. There's no I don't do AI and all that.
Okay.
So it's this the traditional landscape is what I do. So I use CPL to bring out the color,
Okay.
to take away reflections and things like that. And if I have clouds, it pops out. It's really cool to have a CPL. And then I use ND grad 6 stop because I want to have longer exposure, right? 30 seconds is not enough sometimes for me. I think I shot this at around 1 minute exposure.
Oh wow. And
That's
this is
why
a single image then?
all of my photos are mostly single image,
Okay.
especially if I'm far from my subject. Because the only time I stack photos is when the foreground is super close to me. Because
Okay.
if it's super close, for sure the background will be blurred, right?
Right.
So I use what we call a ND grad. So if I have my square filter holder here, it will have the CPL,
Yeah.
then a 6 stop, then an ND grad.
I love that.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys have used an ND grad, but basically the sky is the brightest part of your image, and you want to balance it out with your foreground. Because
Right.
if I don't use an ND grad, my sky will be overexposed.
Right.
It'll be blown out because I'm exposing for the foreground. So that's how I shot this. So I shot this at f16. I would say at around 1 minute, 45 seconds to 1 minute,
Okay.
and just auto white balance. But I put it on landscape to the color profile to landscape, so it brings out more color. And
Right.
I always shoot in raw, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then of course you shoot multiple shot, and then the best image that you get is, is what you choose to edit. And in this case, yeah, that's why you can see the water is smooth and all that because of the long exposure,
Yeah.
and you can see the water blasting on the side of the cliff there. And
Okay.
these are actually, Sean, this is actually our fishing village. The
Oh,
houses
okay.
that you see, the red ones,
Yeah.
this is a famous fishing village, but now it's turned into tourist accommodation. And I would say 80% of the people that stay on those cabins are photographers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I can see why.
Yeah.
It's such an
So,
incredible location.
oh, yeah, because you just come out, Northern Lights is there.
Yeah.
Everything
Oh,
is
okay.
beautiful. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's the story about this image. So it's I use Canon, but it doesn't matter what camera you use. It's just all about how your settings are. So I
Absolutely.
usually shoot in long
Absolutely.
exposure. I even sometimes go up to 7 minute exposure, believe it or
Oh,
not.
wow. Okay.
Well, yeah. All
Well,
right.
very, very cool. Well, thank you for giving us some info on that photo. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next photo. And this one looks like you have titled it Castle Mountain. It looks like you have a beautiful mountain in the background where it looks like either sunrise or sunset with some nice orange
Mhm.
light on it. And then you have a
Yeah.
little bit of it reflecting in the foreground from shot from a nice low perspective. So why don't you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about this image? Was this sunrise or sunset?
This is sunrise as well.
Okay.
And this is in Alberta, in the place you said it's one of your bucket list on your place. It's in Banff. It's in
Okay.
Alberta. The airport is in Calgary, so you drive about an hour and a half to Banff. So this is one of my favorite mountains in Alberta. It's called Castle Mountain because it looks like a castle. And yeah, and then can you guess, Sean, what's the temperature when I shot this? This is winter.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
So,
do a wild guess.
well, I don't know the conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but if I because you Canadians use real measurements and we use fake
Yeah.
ones, but I would guess I'm gonna guess it was 2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So
Somebody says negative 10 degrees. It's kind of believable. It's usually what the temperature is there. But this was shot, Sean, at
yeah,
negative 35 degrees Celsius.
no way.
Yeah, man, it was super cold. We have a winter snap, what they call it, the Arctic cold, they call it. Every year we
Wow,
have like an Arctic cold. And the coldest I've shot in actually in the Rockies is negative 45 degrees.
that's insane. So according to Google,
Mhm.
that it comes out to negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's very cold.
N- No, man. Is that negative 30? Because it's already negative 35 degrees Celsius. So in Fahrenheit, that would be higher, right?
uh, let me check that actually.
Call
So
Google.
you said it was negative
Ne-
35. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
he's.
negative 31 Fahrenheit. I think
Oh, I see.
once you start getting into the negatives, it gets a little weird.
Oh, it
But
changes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's still
DJ is right. It's called
that's
the
cold.
Arctic vortex.
That's
So it's
cold.
super cold, but in cold places, as you know, as a landscape photographer, this is what we look for. It's called the alpenglow. When the peak of the mountain turns into orange or reddish color like
Right.
that,
Yep.
that is what you're waiting for. It's the basically the climax of the sunrise or sunset, and that's why we and basically an alpenglow is a reflection of the sunrise or sunset. So usually it's opposite. So the sun is on the other side, it reflects to the mountain, and it's an aspen glow. And it's actually a river. This is a river that you can see, and
Uh
on the side of it, there's stones and you can walk, ice and all that. And this actual water that you can see is a small puddle of water. It's not
okay.
frozen yet, but it's gonna freeze soon because it's super cold, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's probably just a bucket this big of water. It's not big. That's why my lens is so close to it, because so in landscape, one of the key elements in composing is reflections.
Right.
So that's why you come there early. You look, what's the interesting shot here? So in this case, I wanted the reflection, right? So that's because it's that they call it the artistic echoing of an image is so powerful in landscape photography. And then I
Yeah.
have the elements on the side, those stones and that with ice. It made it more interesting. I didn't have clouds. So I
You
love
have
clouds,
to.
but
You have to.
but
Yeah.
no, on this case, as you can see, there's no clouds. But
Oh, clouds.
usually
Okay.
you make the most of what is given to you. No clouds, I will use reflection and other elements on the side, because my as you can see, there's only a little bit of sky, because
Yeah.
I don't want to focus on the sky,
It's a great
because
point.
there's nothing really much happening in the sky.
Uh
It's a
huh.
negative space for me. So this was shot, so because there's no clouds, I don't have to do super long exposure. So this was shot probably. I still shoot at f16, f11 to f16. That's my favorite aperture when I'm shooting landscape. So this was shot probably either at f13 or f16.
Okay.
And then on this one, I think I did two exposures, one in the stone in front of me and one in the mountain. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't do composite, but I do focus stacking. So that's a just to just to make it clear, focus stacking is not HDR, and
Right.
it's also not a composite. So basically, you are taking two shots, combining the focus on the foreground and the background.
Okay.
So on this shot, I always use mostly my 16 to 35, which is this lens here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I use CPL is a must
Yeah.
on this shot because I want to bring out the reflection and the color of the because you can see a little bit underneath the water there, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I think I use a point 0.3 ND grad
Okay.
on this shot.
Okay.
Yeah. But my tripod is flat to the ground and I'm
Right.
shooting almost lying on the ground because you wouldn't see this reflection if you won't go down below and just really look for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So if you're normal person, you wouldn't see it because you have to look from below to see the uh
Right. You got
the
to really get
reflection.
at that low angle. Yeah.
Yeah, super low angle. I usually use tripod with no center column. So when I do my super low angle,
Mm-hmm.
it goes super flat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, super low angle.
So when you're
Yep.
doing the focus stacking, is that something that you can do in camera? Like you can combine the foreground and the background in camera, or do you do that in
Uh
post production?
uh I still do it in post production. The new
Okay.
cameras now can actually focus stack about 45 images.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then make it one shot. But when I see the output, I don't like it too much. I still want, and I don't want to go too extreme. I want it to be surreal. I want it to be, I don't want it to look AI. I want it to be real because
Yeah.
even your eye, not everything is in focus, right?
Right. Of
Because
course.
when I shoot landscape, I actually, because our cameras process it too, right? So it doesn't look like what you see it in your naked eye. So
Yeah.
basically what I'm trying to do in my post processing is bringing it back to how I saw the scene or the image.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
that's my goal as a landscape photographer, is to bring back what I actually saw on my naked eye when I did the
Yeah.
shot.
That's a
Yeah.
great piece of advice actually. That's actually for honestly for any type of photography, it's is you want to make the image believable, right? So,
Yeah.
I
Because
really love that. It's a good piece of advice.
a lot of the images now is what they call is more is is not a pure landscape art now. It's more of a digital art. There's nothing wrong
Okay.
with any image. You can do whatever manipulation that you want,
Yeah.
but it becomes a digital art because you're manipulating the elements around it. It is not what nature is giving you, because a real landscape photographer, that's why you chase the sunset, you chase the weather and everything so that you capture it. And that's the
Yeah.
interesting part of it, because if you missed it, you either come back again next year if you're
Mhm.
not from here, or try again tomorrow, things like
Right,
that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Hey, we got a question from John Hawking. William,
Yeah.
during your shows, are you printing on acrylic, and what size prints are you displaying?
So I have an upcoming exhibit here in Vancouver. I sell my landscapes, but I don't religiously market my landscape for sale. It's not my main income in photography. But I there's two types of prints that are popular on me. The ones you can see on the background is called canvas print. It's actually pretty cool because it's not expensive. In Canadian, I sell it for like $600. In US, that's probably three 400 or something like that. Um, yeah, so that
Okay.
is the good thing about it. It's easy to hang, it's not so expensive, and you can just have clips like this, and it will actually hold it, right?
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
the other one that is really getting popular, but a little bit pricey, it's called face mount. It's an acrylic, it's like a glass, it's almost like a 3D, but it's
Yeah.
so surreal. It's almost like it's a real image. It's
Yes.
amazing. And you will see it in my exhibit. And I sell that for about 2,000 for a 24 by 36.
Oh wow. Wow.
Canadian. Yeah,
Still, yeah,
Canadian.
that's
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah. Awesome. Good for
Yeah.
you. Well, William, I want to go ahead and move on to this next image because this next one is probably one of my favorite photos from you, and I have so many questions to you about this. And this is for
Yeah.
those for this is essentially a photo of a train going
Mm.
through what I can only imagine is the Canadian Rockies. So I gotta
Yeah.
ask you, like, how do you what's the story behind this, and how do you even time this photo? How do you know when the train is there? Do you have the
Oh,
train schedule, or are you literally just sitting there and waiting until this thing comes? So
it's
talk to me about
landscape.
this.
I tell you, Sean and everyone, landscape, you gotta have patience, man, and you gotta enjoy waiting. You gotta enjoy waiting. So on this photo, it's called, the place is called Morant's Curve. Morant, I think this amazing guy named it Morant. They name it after him. I don't know if he discovered the place, but the place is perfect, kind of like so picturesque that the
Yeah.
mountains on the
No kidding.
background is just perfect. The mountain is uh, the the Pacific Canadian Pacific train. It's called Canadian Pacific train, passes by like a snake, an S curve, right? We use that
Mm-hmm.
a lot in portrait, and you had to anticipate, and you just have to wait. You set up your tripod there. You just set up your, have your setting just like what I have here, and it's a moving train, so you can't do super long exposure, right?
Right.
Because otherwise it'd be blurry.
Yeah.
And also, you don't know you don't know what time the train will pass by, bro. Some people wait 1 hour and a half, some people wait 30 minutes, some people wait 5 minutes, some people
Mm.
wait 5 hours, and train doesn't pass by. So
Wow.
there's no guarantee. You just have to wait. And when I I go here every year because I bring my clients here every year on my photo
Okay.
tour. But on my first time I came here, because the train can either go from this way, coming from the other side on the left,
Okay.
or on the right. And that I was facing here, right, on the view, and the train is coming out from the other side. So I
Oh,
panic. I put my tripod on the other side, so I wasn't ready for my exposure. I have to adapt quickly.
yeah.
But then then I realized, I just found out that has the train has two heads, both the same. So
Right.
when it's at the end of the trail of the train, you will see the head of the train. And
Yeah.
that's what this is the perfect spot. This is the main spot that you want, because it's not covered by the tree, and you get the S curve, and you have a nice, because the head of the train is always red.
Yeah.
It's the Pacific Canadian Pacific train is always red, and the uh, the stuff that it's carrying, sometimes it's different colors, whatever it's carrying, because it's used for trade. It's used for carrying supplies and all that. So I shot this at f16. I want everything to be sharp, one shot, and I shot this probably at 1/500 of a second,
Oh,
because
so
the
pretty
train is not
fast.
so that the train is not super fast. It's not like a bullet train,
Yeah.
but I still want to shoot it fast because I wanted it to be sharp. And this time, I don't ISO. I was shooting maybe at 800 or
Yeah,
400
because you have to
ISO,
compensate for that faster shutter
and
speed.
I use R5 for this shot. And nowadays our cameras, no problem with noise at all.
Right.
Especially, I noticed that noise is dependent on the color temperature, and with natural lighting, it's actually not a problem. So
Hmm.
my goal is to have a sharp shot more than the noise, because it's hardly noticeable, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's how I shot this image. I still have a CPL. I want to bring out the color and the cloud and all that. So CPL, and then just my 16 to 35 f16 at around either, I think, 400 or 500 of a second, around there, because I want it to be sharp.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then actually my technique is, when, because it's long, the train is probably like 5 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a super long train. So I also will shoot a long exposure that is blurred, and it's kind of like a snake, a real snake. It's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I
But
love
this is
that.
iconic. Actually, our Canadian dollar, the $10 bill, has this image.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in the
and
$10 bill.
that makes sense. And what I love
It's
about
actually my
this,
bestseller, Sean. This is
yeah,
my
no, that
bestseller landscape.
I
You
I
gotta buy
believe
one
it.
from me and put it in your house.
All right, sounds good. I might have to do that. Or better yet, I'll just go out and take my own, and you can show me the spot.
For sure. It's called the bucket shot.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and what I love about this, is the fact that probably my favorite element is the fact that the train is, that bright red color, so it
Yeah.
contrasts and sticks out so well from the rest of
Yeah.
the frame, the scene, without being, very overwhelming. And that it's such a beautiful scene, and I absolutely love this.
I love
So,
the patch lighting on the back on the mountains there. I
yep,
like that too.
that adds some
Yeah.
depth. It adds some depth to the mountain, so the image isn't as flat.
And this
Yeah.
is winter. This is probably about -5 or -10 degrees when we shot this Celsius.
Okay.
So I'm with the group because I'm teaching, right? And one time I have a client that is he's a doctor, but he teaches Tai Chi. So while we're waiting, we did Tai Chi. It was fun.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
So, what time of day
Yeah.
was this shot at? Do you remember?
So for Moran's Curve, I don't shoot it at sunrise and sunset. I shoot it any type of, and midday. I think we shot this at about maybe 3 p.m. It's a little bit overcast. That's why we
Yeah.
have a little bit of clouds. But for this one, it doesn't matter what time, because
Okay.
on my tour, we are always on sunrise and sunset at epic spots. Because
Hmm.
the train, you don't know if it's gonna pass during sunset, right?
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we do it as an extra, and then after sunrise or before sunset, somewhere in the middle, so
Okay.
that, because we don't know if we're gonna wait by 30 minutes or 1 hour.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an incredible image. Thank you for sharing this one. Well, great. Let's talk about. We got two more that I want to talk about, and this next image, I believe it's titled Belly Abraham, and I'm not really sure why it's titled that. So maybe you can give us some insight on that. But I absolutely love just the foreground elements, these air pockets that you have coming up, these frozen air pockets. You have
Yeah.
that beautiful light on the mountain. You have those really cool looking clouds. I mean, honestly, it's a perfectly composed photograph, and there's so many amazing elements here. What was
Yeah.
the story
This is
with
one.
this one?
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite place in Canada. It's called Nordeg. It's another 2.5 hours drive from Banff. It's in the middle of Calgary and Edmonton. It's one of the most popular place in the world actually during winter, because of the winter phenomenon. Those white spots or bubbles that you see, it's called methane bubbles.
Okay.
It's called methane bubbles or ice bubbles.
Right.
So they are dead organisms underneath, and then it releases methane. And on winter, before it even gets to the top, it is it processes. And this place, when you go there, Sean, guys, it's like you're in Mars or somewhere. It's out of this world, man. The place looks like a different world, and it's popular. All amazing photographers, Ansel Adams, everyone, they all go here
Okay.
because it's a must for a landscape, serious landscape photographer. But the reason why there's only two places like this in the world, one is here in Nordeg, and one is in Russia in Baikal. And
Okay.
the reason why this is a frozen lake, even a truck can drive by on this lake. It's really thick, and then the wind is a killer here. Um, Usually it goes between 30 to 50 kilometers an hour, sometimes even more, and it polishes the lake. That's why it's actually like a 3D. You can see underneath. It's amazing. It's so mesmerizing. For me, it's the most amazing winter phenomenon. So, this is this is one of a scene that is not guaranteed. It's it's even if you're the best landscape photographer in the world,
Right.
the cloud is what we call the lenticular clouds, which is a little bit rare, but everything came into place at this day. Perfect clouds, beautiful sunset, and amazing big ice bubbles. So I shot this really low, very low angle.
Yeah.
It's like a military. You're lying on the ground.
Yeah.
We don't care about.
I've seen your pictures for your behind the scenes pictures of how you get these photos, and they're pretty incredible.
And you have to be experienced to go here. It's no joke because it's super cold. You can easily have an accident. You have to wear crampons with those things you put on a shoot for spike because it's super slippery. Imagine ice in your fridge. That's how slippery it is. You'll break your bone if you fall and things like that. And
Yeah.
because it's super windy, you can't leave. If you leave your even your bag sometimes can be blown away if it's not
Right.
heavy and things like that. And if it was blown away, you lose your cup, your took, forget about it. There's no way you can get it. But a lot of people, it's so popular now, Sean. When we first went here, it's not a lot of people go, but even locals, they skate here a lot. People come here to skate because it's so beautiful. So usually the temperature here is between 0 to negative 45 degrees with the wind chill.
Wow.
So it depends when you get there, but it can get up to negative 45 degrees here. It's pretty
Wow.
cold. So how I
Wow.
shot this is three exposures, focus stacking. One is exposed because I'm very close. If this is the ice bubble,
Mm-hmm.
this is my lens. I'm super close to the lens. So to the
Yeah.
almost to the minimum focusing distance of your lens.
Okay.
So one to your foreground, middle ground, and to the background,
So you're
which
so
is the
three
mountain.
photos, three stacking photos
Three,
essentially,
three
focusing
stacking
points.
photos and
Okay.
super cool. So it really helps now that we have touch screens because so easy. You touch the first focus, you touch the second, and the
Yeah.
third. So that's how I shot this. I use CPL. I still use an ND grad for this one. As you can see, the streaking of the cloud, but not
Mm-hmm.
super long. I
Right.
think I was maybe um, 30 seconds or 40 seconds around there. Because you can see, right? Because I still want it to be dramatic.
Yeah.
And and yeah, it's just also make sure you compose it right. Everything comes into place. The bubbles are intersecting and then pointing to the mountain, and you have this amazing lenticular cloud. And sunrise again. No,
So
this was sunset. Sunset.
okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
when you're capturing these photos in these extreme locations where it's, super super cold like this, are there as many crazy photographers as you out there? Are there a ton of them, or is it really just you and maybe
At
a few
first,
people?
before, there weren't too many people that go here. but now there's a lot. And
Okay.
sometimes we even have little arguments with people because you're set up there, you have your tripod, and then somebody will come in front of you and cover you and also step on your foreground. Yeah. So a lot of tourists comes here, a lot of Chinese. Actually, the most are Chinese from Hong Kong, wherever they come,
Okay.
and they usually a little bit hard to communicate to because most of them don't speak English, and they just forget that there's other people, right? So
Right.
yeah, so there's people, and actually, the last time I shot here, I even did an engagement shoot here.
Oh wow, I would love to do
Yeah,
that. I would love to do an
yeah,
engagement session
man, it
here.
was epic. But last year wasn't too cold. Oh, actually, this year, because I do this every January to Feb. It's only prominent around those times. It was only like negative 2, 3 degrees, so it wasn't that cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah, what a fantastic photo. And I'm sorry if you already said this. Was this also captured with the 16 to 35?
yeah.
Okay.
My main lens for my landscapes are 16 to 35.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense. That
play
makes
around
sense.
there because I want it ultra wide. You gotta have an ultra wide lens, and but I always bring with me another lens, a 70-200 or 150-600, because sometimes I want intimate shots, really close up, just the peak of
Right.
the mountain and stuffs like that. But yeah,
And William, let me ask you a question. Have you ever played around with medium format cameras? Because I know a lot of like really a lot of really hardcore landscape photographers love that medium format sensor. Do you have you played around with one at all, or have you pretty much just stuck with your Canon full frame?
I actually was enticed before to move to Fuji. They actually asked me if I
Yeah.
want to try Fuji, but it's not for me. I don't like the colors. Because I shoot hybrid, right? I shoot a lot of I shoot portraits,
Right.
weddings, commercial, not just landscape.
Yeah.
And the medium format also is so big, and at the same time, the lenses are limited. I
Right.
noticed there's only a few lenses. So I thought about it, but I never really got because now the new cameras, the megapixel is not a problem. Because for me, the main reason you want the medium format before is the megapixel, right? Because but my
Yeah.
dream is to have a pace one someday.
Oh yeah, phase ones are amazing. I have a
Yeah.
colleague here in Colorado who he's retired and all he does now is photograph landscapes around the world and he uses a phase one and
Oh
they're
man,
absolutely incredible, but they're also the
hundred
cost of
thousand.
yep, they're also the cost of a very nice luxury car. So
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they were
very
asking
very
here,
cool.
Sean. You gotta come prepared. So if I do photo tours, so I give them guides on what to wear, what to bring. You have to be prepared. So
Yep.
we wear really the key in shooting in cold places is layering. So you have to have a parka that can handle up to 30 degrees, and then you have a base layer, mid layer, and your parka. And
Right.
sometimes because in this place is super windy, we use the windproof like Arcteryx on top of our parka.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be prepared. I
You have
haven't
to be
photographed.
prepared.
Yeah, I haven't photographed in weather that cold. But I have gotten close. I've done ice fishing in -10 weather, a -10
Mm-hmm.
Fahrenheit before. Um, but usually we'll have ice fishing huts to help keep us a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine staying out there for too long, taking
Yeah, and
photos with no
we put
protection.
heat pads on our socks and on our gloves
Oh, good.
because every now and then you gotta keep your
Yeah.
and in cold once your foot is frozen or got into super cold, you're done. You have to come back because you
Right.
cannot do anything anymore. It's so
Yep.
painful, and you just have to go back. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing the info with us on this image, William. I want to take us now to our last photo of our presentation, which is a little bit different from everything else we've been seeing, but I absolutely love this for so many reasons. I love the crop on it. I love the colors. I love the composition, and it's a
Yeah.
cityscape. And I have a, a photo in mind that I want to take during our workshop um,
Mm-hmm.
next in a few weeks here with us with the beautiful Vancouver cityscape like this. But I want you to talk about this image a little bit and talk about your thought process with how you captured this.
So I work around this. I my full-time job, the hospital I work at, is close to overlooking this place, and I'm just so lucky to be, working in that place. But wherever I go, Sean, even if I'm not shooting, I always have my camera with me. Believe it or not, in
Yeah.
my bag, it lives in my because you just never know when there's an
Right.
opportunity for a great shot. And I only shoot serious landscape in sunrise and sunset because I want to take photos that no one else can replicate or
Right.
has the beautiful, because a normal tourist will shoot during the day, even if you're at this place shooting at this cityscape. If you don't have those killer clouds, it won't be as epic. You won't stand out as a, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to bring yourself out there, you gotta have images that are, you know, not the usual, right? So it was just a matter of timing and shooting landscape for a while. I know already if the sky is gonna blow up or not. It's a skill that you learn. So I knew that there's gonna be a dramatic sunset.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have on this shot. It's still a long exposure, but not super long exposure. But because I want the water to be smooth, as you can see.
Right.
So when you're looking at a photo, you can tell it's a long exposure if it's smooth, right? Especially there are boats there moving, so they have ripples and all that. So yeah, it's perfect sunset. The clouds are great. It was winter as well, but in Vancouver we don't have super crazy winters. As you can
Right.
see, the mountains still have some snow, I think. So either it's spring or it was sometime in the winter. But in Vancouver, we don't get crazy winter, although
Right.
it's also snows. But it was perfect timing. Uh, I was prepared. I have my ND, of course, because if you don't use this ND grad, you won't the sky won't be as prominent as that because
Right.
it just brings out the details of the clouds.
Yeah.
And I probably shot this at maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Wow. Long exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 seconds. And still at F16. See, I'm sharing my secret. I shoot a lot at F16.
It's a good
It's just
secret.
that, yeah. Yeah, so F16 landscape orientation. I mean landscape profile, raw, and just exposure is you based it on what you are given, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I shot,
Okay.
of course, ISO 100. Yeah. But
Okay.
sometimes nowadays I can go, if especially if I want it to be a faster shutter speed, or I'm in a rush and I want to take a lot of shot. I usually increase the ISO even up to 800 because
Okay.
nowadays ISO
You
is not an
can.
issue anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um.
But this is Vancouver. The skyline, Vancouver skyline is I think it's just the right amount of buildings and combining the mountains and everything. It's not oversaturated with like
Mhm.
New York and all those places. But it's yeah, Vancouver is a beautiful city.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love this, William, and this this gets me so excited for our workshop next month. And um, if any of you haven't signed up yet, and you're even just considering it, I would love to see you all there because we're gonna be we already have a couple places picked out, but we're gonna be incorporating beautiful landscape photography, specifically some of these cityscapes as well as some nature scenes as well that
Mhm.
William and I have picked out with portraiture. So I'm really looking forward to collaborating with William on this, because we're going to be able to take William's expertise with landscape photography and combine it with my expertise of portraiture and come together to have this beautiful marriage, no pun intended, of photography. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And it's going to be 2 days, and we're going to be doing a 1 day of lecture at William's studio, and then the second day we're going to be going out and just basically getting portraits, we're capturing portraits and getting some portfolio shots. And again, if you haven't signed up, I really encourage you to do so. But William, this is such a great photo. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about just or
Yeah.
maybe any tips on what you can do to get amazing images?
Yeah, on landscape photography is it's our workshop is actually such a powerful workshop. I know most probably have attended quite a lot of workshop, but it's unique because nowadays, uh, it's the power of nature and portrait. If you combine it, it's just the emotions that in the image is just amazing. And what great about it is you can use the images not just for your clients, but usually you go on holidays with your family, right? And if you're going to Europe, wherever, you're a photographer, you have to have a unique shot. Might as well have a shot. Basically, you're getting two sides of the world because usually a blurred background and either one of each, right? But this one, you're getting two sides of the image, the story behind where you are and your client or your subject. And in our workshop, I will be sharing my secret on how I shoot landscapes. So it's kind of like they will learn about landscape photography and then combine it with your expertise in lighting and posing and all that. And yeah, but I just want everyone to know that it's super worth it to come and join us. Let's have fun here. And as I told you, Sean, I wanted to formally tell everyone that if, in case they stay longer or they spend another day in Vancouver, I'm gonna tour them and do almost a city tour or almost a landscape photo tour in Vancouver for half a day, bringing them to nice places because Vancouver is surrounded by mountains. It's just gorgeous. And
Yeah,
also, we'll do some landscape and maybe even do some portraits. But yeah, that's a bonus there. So
that's an incredible
hopefully
offer.
they can join us and yeah.
Yeah, such an incredible offer, and I wish I could stay for that day after, but I have to be getting back to Colorado because I have a big meeting that I got to be at. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get there a few days early so we can check out the city, look at the spots we're gonna take photos at,
Mhm.
and um, it'll be my first time in Vancouver, so I'm honestly I can't tell you how excited I am for this trip.
Yeah.
This weekend I'm going to to Cabo San Lucas in
Oh,
Mexico.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
beautiful there, man.
yeah. So and then
Yeah.
I'll be going from the beach to the mountains. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to all the traveling I'm doing personally this upcoming month. But William, yeah, thank you so much for your time. These images are absolutely incredible. I definitely am going to continue to pick your brain about how you captured some of these. And if any of you have any questions for William, for those of you who are maybe watching the replay, please go ahead and post it in the group, and he will go ahead and answer those. And if you haven't signed up for Ethereal already, please do so. It's an incredible value for a 2-day workshop. We're going to have a lot of fun. So, William, thank you. I hope you have
Cheers.
a fantastic evening. And for all of my viewers, as always, stay classy, stay sassy, and be dope nasty. Have a good one, everyone.
Cheers.